Hey guys, this is Cam for 15 on Cam for 15 Talk Sports. I'm joined by my Uncle Darrell, and we are here to give our season, I guess you could say, preview of the entire NFL season as a whole, which we're going to talk about all 32 teams. Probably not in depth because we don't know ultimately in depth. We're just giving just our outsiders' perspective on where we think the teams are going to go, as well as we're going to give a week one preview because week one games start this week. But if this is the first time on the channel, we're not only going to do NFL weekly recaps and stuff like that and give our analysis. Now, we're not going to check out every game, but some of the games we'll check out and maybe talk about more in depth. But we also do Chicago Bears stuff because we're Chicago Bear fans. I know, hate us, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's get off on this highly anticipated NFL season, which I'm definitely looking forward to. Just from the fact that football's back, and like I said, college football's
That's
back.
right. That's right.
Yep.
Can't wait. Won't wait.
Yep.
Gotta get up
So,
at 2. Get
so
my 2 in
mhm.
the mornings ready.
So what division do you want to talk about first? AFC or what conference do you want to talk about first? NFC or AFC?
Well, you know what? The Bears are in the NFC, so let's go AFC first. I mean,
Okay.
and the NFC's got the Super Bowl champ. So let's do NFC second.
Okay. So AFC, we'll start off with the AFC East. So the AFC East, I think we can all expect to win the AFC East this year. Should be the Buffalo Bills. It should be them. I think they're gonna win the East this year. Again, Josh Allen,
What other team is going to challenge them?
maybe the Patriots, maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe, no. Sorry. Mac Jones is going to eventually be a really good quarterback. But for me, and I'll just go ahead and end this right now. To me, this year is the Bills' year.
Mhm.
To me, this is it. The rule changes, which they lobbied for in the offseason and got. I think this is the Bills' year. If the Bills don't win it this year, I gotta admit it must be something in the water in Buffalo. But I can't see anyone coming close to the Bills in that division.
Yeah,
Nobody.
they practically brought back the entire team, and then they added, I guess you can say, an aging Von Miller for a crazy amount of money. I don't know why they paid him that money, but
Correct.
it is what it is. They also did, as of today, they did re-sign their tight end Dawson Knox, who's actually a very good tight end,
Yeah.
for them. But it's gonna be interesting. It's also gonna be interesting to see how their offense looks. Their offense should still be really good, but with their
And keep
former,
in mind, didn't they also added an extra running back?
yeah,
So they are talking about running the ball more. Stop not trying to be so one dimensional. With Josh Allen just being everything. So for Bills run the ball a little bit more, especially when the games are late in the fourth quarter and they just need to kill clock, which is something that the Bills haven't historically been good with. But I again, I can't see anyone challenging other than Kansas City, maybe challenging the Bills in the AFC. But the Bills for this division, AFC East, I think they'll probably win this division by 5 games.
yeah. Yeah, the what's gonna be interesting to see how the offense looks for the Bills now with Brian Daboll gone. I know he was really good play caller for them, but it's gonna be interesting to see how they look. But they should win the division. They
They
definitely
should.
they definitely are a Super Bowl contender, so we'll see how that goes. My
Yep.
second place team, more than likely, is gonna be the New England Patriots.
Yes.
Again,
Agreed.
it's a whole thing of just building Mac Jones up and hopefully as a breakout, year
Yeah.
in his second year, because typically that's when quarterbacks have their big breakout year. But we'll see. I think it's gonna be the combination of what they did last year, focused on the run, and then when it's time for Mac Jones to pass, time for him to pass. The defense
Correct.
should be fine. I forgot there was somebody on the defense who did retire from them. I think it was McCourty. I don't know. I don't know. I know.
I think it was one of the McCourty brothers. I
Yeah.
think it I think it was. But the Patriots, they are the total antithesis of what the Bills is. The Bills like to open up the field, spread out, throw the ball around. whereas I think the Patriots are going to be able to just smash mouth, try to keep the Bills on the sideline so that they can run clock and things of that nature. But so yeah, they should be second place in this division. 9-8, 10-7, that kind of stuff. But they'll come close. But again, I honestly think the Bills should be a nice little 4 or 5 game spread to win that division.
Yeah, but I know the one thing about that's interesting with the Patriots is surprisingly, it looks like Matt Patricia is going to be the guy calling their offensive plays. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know what's going to happen there. If I had my buddy Matt
Wasn't he a defensive coordinator?
Yep. Yeah, so since Josh McDaniels left, they kind of, at this point, we don't know. It could be Bill Belichick secretly calling the plays. Matt Patricia may be calling the plays. If my friend Matt Swanson, who's a Patriots fan, wasn't sick at the moment right now, because I actually did talk to him today, I would like to get his perspective. But it's gonna be very interesting to see how that offense is going to operate now that you're pretty much gonna have defensive guys calling the plays. But
well, I mean, let's just think about it. Let's think about it like this. Who better to try to pick apart a defense than the defensive coordinator?
Smart.
I mean, that's the only thing I can actually think of as far as why the logic works in this scenario. Get a defensive coordinator to call the plays so that a defensive coordinator would know the different spots to attack in any given defense, given any scenario. Yeah. So Bill Belichick is, one of the better coaches in the game, if not historically all time. So he's got to have a method to his madness. So let's see how it works. But Matt Patricia, we'll see.
Yeah. Third place team in the AFC should be the Miami Dolphins. If they somehow get second place, I would actually be shocked. But they have a new head coach, Mike McDaniels, who's coming over from the San Francisco 49ers as the offensive coordinator. So I envision he's going to be one of those offensive head coach geniuses that are going to be the main guys calling the plays while the offensive coordinator is kind of just there. Because that's kind of what he was in San Francisco. And the one big addition they made this offseason was getting Tyreek Hill. But I think we can all say that the biggest part of this year's for the Miami Dolphins and their fans is how Tua Tagovailoa looks. Because if he doesn't look good, well, then you definitely envision that they're going to move on. And then you've been hearing these rumors that maybe Tom Brady's trying to find a way to get to Miami, or there's been this thing about maybe Lamar Jackson, since he hasn't signed a deal yet, could potentially go to Miami too. It's going to be interesting. I think the Miami Dolphins can actually be a fairly solid team just based off on their quarterback. I think they have a solid enough defense to keep them in some games. And they look like they got a really good offense around them. I think it just comes down to the quarterback play.
Yeah. I mean, Tua has got to be able to push the ball down the field with all the speed he has at wide receiver with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. He has to be able to push that ball down the field. The question is whether he can do it or not. Does he have the arm strength, similar to what Patrick Mahomes did with Tyreek Hill? I mean, if we're looking at preseason, the answer to that question would be no. So we'll see where it goes, how they incorporate the run, because they definitely got speed, a lot of speed in the wide receiver room. So the question is, Tua can obviously dink and dunk. He can actually, hit those holes from, 0 to 20 yards. The question is going to be, can he hit those holes 40 and beyond? So we'll see. But, they've had a lot of, it was a lot of coaching turnover with Miami. With everything that happened with Coach Rhodes and them replacing Coach Rhodes' staff with a new staff. So obviously there might be a little bit of lapse there. But when it's all said and done, Miami can get second place in this division. Whether they will or not remains to be seen. But I can honestly see them, 9-8, 8-9, maybe 10-7. But challenging the Bills, nah.
And as of late, the last few years, they've actually been playing New England actually very tough. It's New England. It's gone to the point where New England has some trouble beating Miami,
Correct.
last few years. So obviously, the last place team that I think we all envision is more than likely New York Jets because they're kind of just putting the building blocks in place. Now,
Yeah.
I just saw on my timeline Joe Flacco is going to be the number one starter quarterback, but
So
obviously because Zach Wilson is going to be out for some time. Listen, it's just a build. Again, it's more building year. Hopefully, Zach Wilson comes back to prove what he's got. He's got weapons. He got Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. They drafted him. He still has Elijah Moore. They drafted the tight end, CJ Usman. I don't know how you pronounce his name. The former Bengals tight end, which I think he stupidly left Cincinnati to go play for the Jets. But hey, you got the money, get the money.
yeah.
So it's just a building block year. I don't expect nothing big from the Jets, really. So it's just kind of the thing is, will Zach Wilson be that second year quarterback that takes a step?
Well, I hate it for Coach Saleh
Yeah.
because obviously he's a really good coach coming from the 49ers organization, and he pretty much just got this atrocity of a roster. And then the quarterback that they draft, he winds up getting hurt, and now he pretty much has to go more than likely half the season without his quarterback more than that. And it's really rough altogether. And you know how it is in the NFL. It's like regardless of the people you put out on the field, you have to produce. I just don't think the Jets will produce, with Joe Flacco as their quarterback. And in the end, it may wind up hurting Coach Saleh. But yeah, they're primed to be the last place team in this division, 4-13, 5-12, something of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving on to the AFC South, the AFC South. Now that's actually going to be, I think it's going to be hard to see who the top two teams are going to be in the division because you obviously have the Titans and you have the Colts. But if I'm being honest, I think I'm going to have to lean the Colts taking first place because I just feel like they got the better quarterback than the Titans. Now running back wise, I think the Titans have the better running back, but Jonathan Taylor, he's no joke. He's a freaking dude and he can run the ball. But their offensive line is really good. Their defense, it's going to be interesting to see how their defense looks, especially with Matt Eberflus leaving for the Chicago Bears because
Williams is not there either. So,
Mhm.
so I mean, the Bears pretty much did get a couple guys from that coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball. And yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they incorporate, or if they keep some of the things Eberflus was doing, or if they just incorporate some new things based on the new DC. So we'll see. But they do have Matt Ryan, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see how Matty Ice works in a new division. But for me, I still like the Titans because again, that ground game is pretty tough. And if you can put pressure on Ryan, then he will fold. And now, granted, Tannehill ain't any better, but at the same time, though, they got that they got a security blanket in Malik Willis, who have really shined during preseason. So we'll see what happens there. How the dichotomy between Tannehill and Willis folds throughout the year. If Tannehill doesn't really do anything, and Willis keeps showing promise. We'll see how that develops. But I still like the Titans to win that division. In the end, man, they got Derrick Henry and nobody else does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I see the Titans as a second place team potentially. Like again, it's based on how Ryan Tannehill plays now. They also did get a very solid receiver in Robert Woods, and then they also drafted Treylon Burks, who I wish the Bears got. But he's
got him too. But,
yeah. But he's gonna be good. He's gonna definitely be good for the Titans, especially gonna be when it's Malik Willis's time. Gonna be his go-to receiver. But it's gonna be interesting. I think the Titans defense is still gonna be stout because Mike Vrabel's still coaching it, and he's a good defensive coach. But I'm still gonna go with the Colts. It's gonna be interesting to see what that is. So it's kind of with those two teams, it's kind of either one's gonna be first place, the other one's gonna be second place. I feel like one of those two teams could make the wild card if they end up going second place, but we'll see. So yeah, third place.
The Texans and the Jaguars for me are just irrelevant in the division. I mean, the Jaguars may make some noise Um, the phrase "any given Sunday." Any team can win, and for me, that'll be the Jaguars this year. I'm really curious to see how Coach Peterson is going to be able to incorporate Trevor Lawrence's skills. I think that was a really good hire. Get Urban Meyer out of there because he was really hurting Lawrence's development. Now that they got Peterson, and he is a West Coast guy who likes to move the ball quickly, get the ball out quickly, and take advantage of the skills that Lawrence has. That for me in that division, that's what I'll be watching, the development of Trevor Lawrence. But in the end, honestly, we can go back and forth who can win the division. Colts, Titans, but and either one can win the division. But the Jaguars, when it's all said and done, once Lawrence gets his development, they're going to have a say as far as which one wins that division.
Yeah. And the Texans, well, I think we can say the same thing. It's just Lovie Smith's there, and hopefully
he'll run cover 2, and is
yeah. Now they do have Davis Mills starting, who looked fairly good last year, so I guess it's a developmental year. See if he has some sort of outbreak year for him. But other than that, he was good for them too.
Okay. Maybe.
I mean, moving on to the AFC North.
Matt, hold on. Just if you look at the quarterbacks in that division, just look at your quarterbacks, and for the most part, you'll come up with the ones who will probably be successful in that division.
Yeah.
AFC
North. Gonna be a very interesting division. Probably the second best AFC division in the AFC, and gonna be another tough one. At this point, I don't know. Oh man, this is gonna be a hard one. Actually,
this is gonna be a tough one, man. You got Lamar Jackson in a contract year.
Yep.
You got the Pittsburgh Steelers starting ex-Bears quarterback.
Yep.
You got Cleveland, who just let who just picked up Deshaun Watson. It's going to be without Deshaun Watson for the first 11 weeks. But if you look at that roster as a whole, Cleveland is deep.
Yeah.
And I mean, they deep everywhere. Running back, wide receiver, offensive line. Just look at that roster. They are deep. And, it just, it's going to be really interesting when Watson comes back in Cleveland. If they can hold down the fort until Watson gets there and Watson gets some kind of idea of what they're doing with this offense, Cleveland is going to be a tough team in that division.
Yeah. Me, who I think the division winner is going to be is I just have a feeling maybe it will be the Ravens again. The Ravens, because of Lamar Jackson coming back again, he's going to be in a contract year.
Yep.
So definitely try to prove.
Playing for a deal. Baltimore, for all intents and purposes, have already told him we want to see if you can do it.
Yeah.
You have an MVP type year. Yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll come back to the negotiating table. But if they thought Lamar Jackson was that cat, they would have locked him up last year. They would have locked him up this summer, but they didn't. So now they're basically forcing Jackson's hand.
Yeah. So the injury concern, you have to wonder, especially with his play style, if he gets hurt, because last year he got hurt and he was practically out majority of the season.
He got hurt. That was it. I don't even think they wanted to bring him back.
Yeah.
That's just my personal feeling. I don't think they wanted to bring him back. I think he wanted to come back. He probably thought he could come back, but I just think that, Harbaugh was like, listen, this season's already a wash. No sense in doing it. We'll start fresh and new. But a motivated Lamar Jackson,
yeah,
I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah, and their defense is always good. It's always stout. So I got them first place. Second place, I definitely could see. Oh man, shoot, this is so hard.
Yeah. Mitch Trubisky, and then right now you got Brissett.
I have to go. I have to go. Probably the Bengals. Now they could also win. They could.
You know what? You are right. The Bengals. You are absolutely right. And the Bengals was the AFC. They were in the AFC Championship game last year.
Yep. So honestly, either the Ravens or the Bengals could be first place in this division. I'm just gonna be honest.
Oh no, man! I think I got to go with the Bengals.
I would not be shocked to see if the Ravens or the Bengals, or if the Bengals are first place again.
I think I got to go with a motivated Bengals team as
Yeah.
opposed to a motivated individual player on
Mhm.
a really good football team. I think the Bengals are looking to show that they can go back to the Super Bowl. And Burrow is, I mean, I gotta give him credit. I didn't think he was going to pan out to be a really good quarterback. I was wrong. Um, and you know, he's got a lot of weapons on that offense. The question is, can that defense, you know, stop the run?
Yeah.
But I like the Bengals. I mean, I like the Ravens defense. I like the Ravens and Pittsburgh's defense better than the Bengals defense.
Mhm.
But when it comes to quarterbacks in that division, no one stands out more than Joe Burrow. And as long as you got a quarterback, you got a really good chance on winning a football game from Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the Browns or the Steelers, shoot. Oh my goodness, they're all good. And I don't mean any of these teams with any disrespect. Like they're all good. But if I'm being honest, if the Browns can hold down the fort, I think they can be a third place team. Like I said, if they hold down now, if they actually do even better than we thought with Jacoby Brissett, and they're actually fairly good, they could be up there with second place or maybe potentially first place in the division.
Exactly. Because keep in mind, just like I said earlier when we were talking about this, all they need to do is two things, in my opinion: hold down the fort until Deshaun Watson gets there, and Deshaun Watson must be able to build some continuity with this team prior to his return. So if he can do that, the Browns are a scary football team.
Yeah.
They are a scary football team. I mean, they already got a two-headed monster at running back. And if you really look at three-headed monster at running back, so you know they're going to smash mouth you to death. Yeah. And a lot of play action, because that's basically what Jacoby Brissett is good at. And the defense, man, just like I said before, just if you just pull up their roster, you'll absolutely see just how deep Cleveland is. Cleveland is scary.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the Steelers, it's gonna be interesting to see how I definitely feel like they're gonna be a run first team with Najee Harris there. And they got a vet who he looked good in the preseason, and even in their training camps, which is what's his face, George Pickens. It's gonna be interesting to see how Trubisky looks in his first starting stint since pretty much Chicago. Now I will say this to his advantage: he'll have 10 times better coaching than what Matt Nagy was coaching him in Chicago.
Better receivers.
Yeah, better receivers. Yeah, better receivers.
Yeah, better receivers. Don't even think about it. Better receivers, better running backs. I mean, we can dabble and dabble on how good the offensive line are with each team.
They have the offensive line hasn't played really the best.
Correct. And that's going to be Pittsburgh's. That's Pittsburgh's, question for the year. Can the offensive line, sustain blocks in the pass and push people off the ball with the run? Can they do that? Do they have a viable second and third option after Najee Harris? Maybe, but that wide receiver room is one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
The problem is that you got a couple of egomaniacal individuals over there, Chase Claypool, that pretty much, put a nice little negative spin on things in Pittsburgh. So hopefully that, and I don't wish any ill will on Trubisky. Personally, I want to see him do well. Anything that Trubisky does well makes Matt Nagy look bad, and I'm all for it.
Yep. Yeah. I was never a Trubisky guy. I didn't like the pick at the time. I thought we should have taken Deshaun Watson at the time. Now, hindsight, I'm kind of glad with what happened with Deshaun Watson. We didn't take him.
Mahomes was available too, but he only had a year or two in Texas Tech. No one really and again, moving back, and I know we've talked about this, but the draft is such an inexact science that your scouting has to pretty much be absolutely outstanding. And I blame the Bears because they listened to Cleveland, talking about we're gonna draft Mitch Trubisky, and Bears are probably like, who is this Mitch Trubisky? So let's take a look at him.
Yeah.
And they got fooled by the Kool-Aid and sipped the tea and drafted him, and look at what we're doing right now.
Yeah. So yeah, defensive wise for the Steelers, I think it's going to be a good, really good defense because they were really good last year. It's just Bren Roethlisberger sucked last year.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so
the
yeah,
offense didn't help the defense at all.
yeah,
But at the same time, though, just I talked about this with Cleveland and Pittsburgh's depth on their defense, specifically that front seven, has to remain decently healthy to win that division.
yeah. But yeah, let's go on to the last AFC division, which is definitely gonna be the most interesting one. Which I'm not even gonna choose a winner. I'm just gonna sit back and I'm just gonna watch. Um,
Oh, you're a West Coast boy, man. Come on, man. Pick a winner.
okay,
Pick a winner.
I gotta go
Stop
with
it.
it. I feel like this got to be the Chargers' year. This has to be their year.
This has got to be. And to
Um,
me, I said this on other videos in the past. Justin Aber. I mean, if there's a cat that's playing today that look like Dan Marino, throw like Dan Marino, and just it's Justin Aber. And to me, this is the team that can challenge the Bills for the Super Bowl. I'm going out there with it. The Chargers and Bills in the AFC Championship.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think the thing, and especially the fact that I live in California and watch a lot of Chargers games, the last few years, and hell, in the recent history, they've just been very inconsistent. Like for example,
Correct.
last year they got blown up by the lowly Houston Texans, and that actually
Correct.
hurt them in their chances to get to the playoffs.
Correct.
So they actually have to win games that they need to win, and they got to beat the teams they need to beat within their division. They got to beat Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos, who
Correct.
typically they somewhat split series against them. And then they got to beat the Chiefs when they beat the Chiefs because last year there was a critical game where they could have won the division, but they lost the Chiefs in SoFi.
Correct. Let's not sneeze on the Raiders either.
Yeah.
Sneeze on the Raiders. Now, defensively, with their secondary issues, we'd have to look at them to see if they actually, solve some of those issues. The Raiders defense, the Chiefs, it's a whole new wide receiver room. It's, same old Patrick Mahomes, but yet, you know what? They brought Matt Nagy back. So unfortunately, it's really difficult for me to go with the Chiefs when you got that.
Well, he's just a lowly quarterback, so he ain't calling plays or anything.
That first preseason game, Chiefs and Bills, it just seemed like to me when I saw Nagy talking Mahomes was like, dude, please leave. That's just the look I felt that he was, dude, please. Okay, I've been here for a long time. I really don't need you. Goodbye. So it's hard for me to go with the Chiefs when you got Matt Nagy. It's really difficult for me to go with the Chiefs. I can't go with the Chiefs, but I do like the Chargers. Yeah. I like the Chargers. The Broncos defense is really good. Don't sneeze on the Broncos defense. And then you do have the Raiders. The Raiders with that 1-2 punch of, Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. Man, Derek Carr did throw for over 4,000 yards last year.
Yeah. I feel, for me, I feel like the Chargers can win the division. Mind you, if they stay healthy on the defense side of the ball.
Correct.
Especially with the fact that not only got Joey Bosa, they also have Khalil Mack. Now, Khalil Mack, he's actually been dinged up the last few years in Chicago. So you definitely have to watch for their health. And typically,
see, now you can't double Khalil.
Yeah.
You can't. Which one you gonna double? You can't. Bosa is a beast.
Yeah.
Mack is a beast. Who you gonna double?
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting.
So I mean,
they should win the
division. That's the dichotomy that comes forth with playing the Chargers. You get put in passing, you gotta run the ball against the Chargers. You don't run the ball against the Chargers, and you get put in passing situations, dude. You better hope you got Michael Vick back there because Mack and Bosa is coming.
Yeah. As for the other three teams, I like the Broncos for what they're doing, even though there's that funny "Let's Ride" meme with Russell Wilson going all over the place now. I think Russell Wilson's still going to be good. They've always had a solid wide receiver core. They just needed a quarterback, and they got solid running backs. Defense, is still solid enough from the Vic Fangio stuff. I know Vic Fangio's not calling the defense there anymore, but still, it's like they still got a good defense. The Chiefs, they're typically going to be good, so they're going to be good. And the Raiders. It's gonna. I think on offense they're gonna be good. Defensive wise, that's gonna be something where it's gonna be something to watch for.
These games are pretty high scoring when they play each other. So I don't expect any of these teams to be a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
What I do expect is the winner of this division, 11, 12 games.
Yeah.
I just don't think all 4 of these teams should be vying for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
That's how good this division is going to be, in my opinion.
Yeah. And obviously the number one thing if these teams want to do is they got to beat the Chiefs to get to where they want to get to, because they're pretty much the long-standing players. But honestly, going from our prediction who could be first place, any of these teams could be second place. Any of these teams could be second. I wouldn't be shocked if all of these teams have good records and they all make the playoffs.
I wouldn't be shocked either. Because keep in mind, 9-8 is a good bet for a last place team in this division.
Yeah.
Which is the playoff team, potentially.
Yeah.
So, and all 4 quarterbacks can throw 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, easily, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So these teams are actually gonna have a say in the shift in power in the AFC.
Yeah.
And I think the Chargers, for me, they're the ones who, in my opinion, is going to be sitting at the top.
Yeah, they practically got everybody back, and they added a few good pieces. So we'll see. Yeah. For you guys, it'll be a quick cut, but we'll be back and we'll talk NFC stuff and then give our week 1 predictions. All right, guys, we're back talking the NFC conference. So we're going to start off with what I envision was going to probably be the weakest division, which is the NFC East. Or not the NFC. Yeah, the NFC East. NFC
East. Yes.
The division winner should be the Cowboys, but I don't know. It could be the Eagles.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna go with the Eagles this year, because you can't trust the Cowboys. Again, it's the same thing. They look like they have a solid enough defense to get them by. The offense is good. They added AJ Brown. It all relies on the quarterback play. Jalen Hurts has to have a really good year. Otherwise, they're going to be in contention next year's draft for a quarterback. That's all I'm going to say about the Eagles.
I like the Eagles too. The problem with the Eagles is Jalen Hurts. He's got to be able to move the ball through the air. He's got to be able to do that. We all know Philadelphia can run the football. We do. But when the run has been stopped, he's got to be able to move the football in the air. And historically, he has shown that he has been unable to do so. Whereas Dak Prescott, he can move the ball throughout the air. The problem with the Cowboys is they haven't shown consistently that they can run the ball well enough, because me personally, I think Ezekiel Elliott is
washed.
I don't want to sit up here and speak lighter to do, because I don't know him, but I just don't think his heart is in it.
Yeah.
I just don't think his heart is in it, not at that position. And it has to be in it. So I like the Eagles, because when it's all said and done, I don't think the Cowboys will be able to run the football. Not effective enough. The defense is there. They got the wide receiving core. They got the quarterback. Unfortunately, they're just going to be one-dimensional, and you can't win a Super Bowl being one-dimensional. I like the Eagles first.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's going to be interesting with the Cowboys. They really their best receiver is CeeDee Lamb. But we'll see how the Cowboys do.
A solid core. I mean, it's they got a solid core. It's not Pittsburgh good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay good. Yeah. But it is good enough with a solid running game. If they have a solid running game, which I don't think they'll have late in the year, because something's going to happen to Ezekiel Elliott, something's going to happen to Tony Pollard, and I don't know who the third guy is on their roster, but obviously, it just, to me, they just aren't the kind of 1-2 punch that a football needs to have to win a Super Bowl. I just don't like it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Everything else, I got to admit, everything else with the Cowboys, I like.
We'll see. Yeah, their defense is going to be. I think it's going to be another solid defense performance.
Their secondary is going to be better.
Yeah,
but between their running backs and their fans, no, Cowboys ain't winning this division.
Yeah, be interesting. Be interesting to see how that forms out with those two teams.
We'll see.
Commanders. They brought Carson Wentz as their quarterback.
Last place.
You got them last place?
Last place. I think the Giants will be better.
I don't think they're going to be that bad.
I think the Giants are going to be better. I never said either one of them was going to be good. I just said the Giants is going to be better. Now, you have to rate which one is which. I mean, but one of them teams is going to be what? Probably what, 6-11? And the other one's going to be 5-12.
Hold on a quick second, guys. Okay. Regardless, I have the Commanders at third place. I think they'll just be there in spite of whatever Carson Wentz does, but whatever. It's gonna be interesting to see how Chase Young looks because I think right now he's on the injured reserve list.
Yeah.
So it seems like he hasn't fully healed from that ACL injury he had.
Right.
He
was injured reserve or he's on the PUP list?
I think he's on the injured reserve list.
Yeah. So I mean, ain't no telling him, but at the same time, it doesn't matter, man. He's just one guy coming off the edge.
Yeah.
The Commanders got other issues that they need to worry about, starting with Carson Wentz.
As for the Giants, I got them 4 players because they got Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones sucks.
Well, I mean, Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones.
I'd take Carson Wentz over Daniel Jones right now.
Well, as long as for me, I mean, Daniel Jones, I don't have a problem with him because he got Barkley in the backfield. You know, a 100% Barkley, and they're saying that Barkley hasn't been healthy for the last 2 years, but now he's coming into training camp and they're healthy, and he's finally 100% healthy.
I still think Barkley. Those injuries are still hampering right now to this day.
All right, and that's fair. That's fair. However, that said, if he is 100% healthy, Barkley is still a viable option out of the backfield over any back in that division. I like Barkley. So we'll see. If I'm going with a wide receiver core, I prefer the Giants core over the Commanders.
That's based on if Kenny Golladay actually tries. Because
if he tries, that's fine. If Tony is healthy, fine. But if we're talking about the 2 wide receiver rooms and they're both 100% healthy and they both try, and I gotta admit, now granted, Terry McLaurin is probably the best one of the bunch, but dude, I mean, I just don't see anything intriguing about the Commanders. Maybe if they would have kept the Washington football team, you would probably have my affections, because I really like that name. I really did.
That's what they're doing over there. So
I know, man. It's just, I like the Giants better. Still third place. 6-11, 5-12.
Yeah.
But
yeah, big year for Daniel Jones. He doesn't do good. Well, they're in the quarterback services next year too.
They're in the quarterback sweeps next year.
NFC West, because I think that's the next weak division, actually. Rams winning the division. Rams winning the division.
Atlanta. No,
Atlanta's not in the division.
That's NFC South. We're going to move on to them. Arizona.
I got them third place.
Right, and I'm assuming then you have what?
San Francisco. Now, okay. I think Arizona and San Francisco can be interchangeable. I think with San Francisco, it's based on how Trey Lance plays. And speaking of San Francisco, they actually got Jimmy Garoppolo on a 1-year pretty much.
I think I thought that was a bad move. You got this guy in the background, you got this number, you got this kid that you're obviously going to start, and you're not doing him any favors by having Garoppolo look over his shoulder.
Pretty much.
I mean,
it goes to show you how much they trust
his development. I don't really care for that. You know, if you're gonna pick the guy, pick the guy. And then, but you don't have the veteran that that was right in front of him, or he was behind last year. Look over his shoulder just to say, well, you know what? Hey, if Lance works out this year, we got Garoppolo right on over there.
Yeah, to me, that move just shows me that they're not too high on Kyle Shanahan's not too high on Trey Lance. And
Trey Lance, that's correct. Jimmy
back if you go back to the draft, Kyle Shanahan, he wanted Mac Jones. He didn't want John Lynch had to talk him into taking.
He does not want another. He does not want another mobile quarterback. He wants a quarterback that can sit in that pocket and pick the defense apart, like Garoppolo should be able to do. Or his skill set is a pocket passer. That's what Shanahan wants. So, can he make Trey Lance into a pocket passer? But he is a really gifted offensive mind. So I'm pretty sure he'll draw some things up to get Lance on the move, but
we'll see, because Trey Lance is very raw. He's very raw.
Yes, very raw. And what was he from? North Dakota State?
North Dakota State, where his final year there, he only played like a game and then he sat out for the draft.
He played, I think, he played more games last year than he did, 2 years prior?
Yeah. And then preseason, he looked that first preseason game, he looked good, but after that, he's all right, but nothing special.
Guess what happened? Okay, you know what? Hey, Trey is not looking as good as we need him to look, so let's just bring Jimmy back for one more year and help out with Trey's development.
Or if he just doesn't show up, well, then there you go. They just put in Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy right back in. Let's just say Trey is hurt. And we'll just go ahead and go with Jimmy.
Yep. Cardinals wise, I don't know what's going on there, because you got Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know. They always start off really good and then they start to freaking tail off at the end. You have to watch if DeAndre Hopkins can stay healthy for a season. You have to wonder if Kyler Murray, he's doing what he's doing. But to me, it sounds like he wants out of Arizona, even though he re-signed, because this whole drama of, they forced him to look at film in their deal, then they took it off. I don't know what's going on with Arizona. I really don't. I think the defense, I think it's all right, but it's the only big name they got is like JJ Watt, but even then he's aging.
And believe it or not, for me, and I think we did talk about this last football season, that Arizona's trouble started once Watt got hurt.
Yeah.
Once Watt got hurt, I don't know what happened in that locker room, but it was pretty much a trickle down effect throughout the entire defense. They couldn't stop anybody. Yeah. And does Watt have 17 games in him? No. No, he doesn't. So I would hope that they keep him on a snap count early in the football season and, keep him healthy for the second half. But, to me, their success revolves around JJ Watt. Now, they did give Kyler Murray an insane amount of money. Was he worth it? And then there's all that, gibberish about he don't read the playbook and all this other kind of crap. Just like, I'm like, dude, y'all gave the man a 200 plus. So obviously he does something good. He did something well to get 200 million. Yeah. So I don't really buy that whole playbook crap. So, but yeah, I honestly think health is the Arizona Cardinals' Achilles heel, because they obviously don't have the depth to suffer a major injury. So they couldn't survive Watt. Kyler Murray went down with an ankle injury last year. DeAndre Hopkins had hamstring issues, and he's had hamstring issues for the past 2-3 seasons. So they just they lost. I think they lost Christian Kirk too. So they're, I gotta admit they can't survive injury because they're not deep.
Yeah.
So
gonna be interesting. The Seahawks.
Last place, number 1 pick overall in the draft.
Yeah. And mind you, the entire league. And mind you, even though I'm being a Bears homer right now, mind you, there's national media analysts that think the Bears are gonna be worse than the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, okay. Moving
Who's
on to
I'm sorry. Who's the Bears quarterback?
Justin Fields,
Who's the Seahawks quarterback?
Geno Smith.
And you trying to tell me Geno Smith is better than Justin Fields?
Nope.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Seahawks, #1 pick overall. And they're drafting a quarterback.
Yeah. Moving on to the next division, NFC South. Now, the NFC South, I think it could be either between the Buccaneers or the Saints. I think the Saints could win the division, mostly due to the Buccaneers' injuries on their offensive line. They not only lost Ryan Jensen, they lost like another good offensive lineman for them. So,
yeah, keep in mind, Brady has been having some, domestic issues, reported domestic issues as well too, which could linger into the season as well.
I think it's not domestic issues. I think it's personal issues, just personal.
Well, domestic, personal. That's what I mean. Yeah, they're pretty much the same thing, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, let's just say Mrs. Winfrey, she don't want me to coach basketball this year. I ain't coaching basketball. But if she don't want me to coach basketball and I do it anyway, yeah, there's gonna be some stress in the household. So apparently the reports is that that's exactly what's going on with Tampa Bay. Mrs. didn't want him to play. He playing anyway. And I think eventually, once they come to terms on this, could very well be Brady's last year.
Yeah.
Could very well be Brady's last year. I can't, fathom the whole Miami thing. Obviously playing is still in his system. But
I think he's trying to do what Peyton Manning did. Try to get that one last Super Bowl and then right off into the sunset.
Right off into the sunset. Now, could that be this year? Possibly.
They're gonna have to beat the Rams to do it, but that's gonna be hard.
They can beat the Rams.
I think they can. I think it was just one thing. Now the question is, will Todd Bowles blitz a lot? Again, Patriots, not the Patriots. God, the Buccaneers. They're solid all around. They added Julio Jones. Again, you have to watch. Can he stay healthy? Chris Godwin should be returning, I believe. I don't know if he's still.
He should be returning, I think. But both of them. But I can honestly see them hold out Godwin for a few weeks and put Jones on a snap count early on because he gonna get it. I mean, to me, it's inevitable.
Yeah,
it's inevitable. He's going to get hurt.
Yeah,
but hopefully they don't. Evans, they don't really overwork Evans too much. They need to figure out if Cameron Brate is going to be, Tom Brady's main man at the tight end. Because one thing you got to have with Brady, you got to have a receiving running back and you got to have a tight end.
Well, that's unless Brady gives a call back to Gronk saying, please come back.
Well, I think he kind of likes Brate.
Yeah.
OJ Howard is no longer there, so I don't know.
Well, OJ Howard, he actually got released by the Bills. The Buccaneers, I don't know if he's free agent still.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just know he's not in Tampa.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, I don't think Brady liked him very much.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think he was willing to do the little things that Brate and Gronkowski were willing to do.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
For me, I do like the Saints, but one thing I can tell you about, Brady, at least, he may start out really slow, but this dude will finish strong.
Yeah.
So Jameis Winston has to be able to maintain, and fight through and power through. Because the Saints historically have always been really good against the Buccaneers. So we'll see what happens. In the end, I still like Tampa Bay. 11, 12 wins, nothing really dominant, but good enough to win the division.
Yeah. Yeah. Buccaneers first, Saints second. Or maybe the Saints somehow get first place. We'll see. Panthers should be third place.
I think you actually had Peter King? Or Peter King actually predicted the Buccaneers to win the division, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong, but I know I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Peter King with Sports Illustrated. He actually predicted the Saints, so the Saints actually got something going on over there.
Yeah. I envision the Panthers to be third place in the division. Now they got Baker Mayfield. We'll see how he looks. I'm not gonna blow any too much thing into the Panthers because they suck. They don't have a good.
Talking about he's gonna f the Browns up or something
I'm
like
gonna
that.
watch that game.
I'm gonna watch that game too, man. I gotta admit, you sitting over here talking about what you gonna do with the Browns when you got Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett coming at your behind. You got two cats that can potentially get 15 sacks each, and you gonna sit up here and talk about what you gonna do to them, man. Just
yeah,
that's gonna be one. I'm gonna definitely have that on my television for sure.
Yeah. And then the last team is more than likely going to be the Atlanta Falcons. They're just building up their stuff. And then it seems like they potentially drive to the quarterback of the future, which is Desmond Ritter. We'll see how Marcus Mariota looks as a starting quarterback, and if they just say,
we'll see. Drake London's hurt, so I don't
still
know.
got Kyle Pitts. They still got Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
and Cordell Patterson.
Pitts will probably wind up getting doubled. Cordell Patterson is actually a really, really good football player. He started with what he was doing a little bit with the Bears, and he really took it to the next level with the Falcons. So kudos to him. I'm glad to see that he finally got his shine as a football player. Really good football player. Just it's sad that he's in Atlanta though.
Yeah, he's from Atlanta though.
Is he?
I think he is.
Yeah, makes sense. You always really play hard for your home cooking, your hometown fans.
Yep. Last division, NFC North. Freaking hate this team, but screw it. It's either going to be the Packers or the Vikings division to win. I'm just going to be honest. Either one of those teams are going to win. It's more than likely going to probably be the Packers because they got Aaron Rodgers, even though I hate the guy. But they can be the regular season team and then losing the playoffs.
Green Bay defense. I'll give it up to the Green Bay defense as far as when it comes down to it. That's going to be the aspect that puts the Packers over the Vikings.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, for me, and I've said this before, Aaron Rodgers is eye candy. He throws a pretty ball. He looks good while doing it. But when it comes down to it and the games get tough, the man has no substance. None whatsoever. At least Kirk Cousins is willing to take a hit to get a yard.
Yep. And they lost Devontae Adams, so it's going to be interesting to see how that offense looks. I guess they have some pretty promising wide receivers over there.
Is it going to be Lazard? Is it going to be, Valdez-Scantling? Who is it going to be?
They don't have Valdez-Scantling. Valdez-Scantlin's with the Chiefs now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's with the Chiefs now. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See, I mean, to me, that's just what it says. His security blanket and Devontae Adams is gone. They'll win games for sure. They'll win games because Matt LaFleur is an actual really good coach. They got a really good defense. And yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a really good regular season football player. When it's all said and done, and when it's time for him to, show some stones, he gonna slide and he gonna duck to keep from getting hit.
Yeah. I feel like they're gonna be a definite power running team with AJ Dillon and then who's their other running back?
Aaron Jones.
Yeah, Aaron Jones. I feel like they're going to do that. And hopefully the receivers go good. Vikings.
A lot of play action. Play action, I think, as well, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Vikings-wise, they're bringing back Kirk Cousins. There was talks that they would trade him, but I think they're going to just draft a quarterback next year, but it's probably going to be one of the lower round quarterbacks, not the high top pick ones, especially the fact that they just cut Kellen Mond because Kellen Mond absolutely sucked.
He sucked in college. I don't even know this. I mean, he wasn't a passer in college. I mean, I don't know. From a quarterback standpoint, I don't know what people saw.
Yeah. I think their defense is going to be a little bit weaker than it once was because Mike Zimmer tried his best to make it good. They're definitely focusing on the offense of the ball. Since they got Kevin O'Connell, who's coming over from the Rams, to be their head coach now. They're going to be strictly offense. They got Justin Jefferson. They also acquired the one dude the Eagles let go, who was pretty much a receiver for them.
Jalen Reagor.
Yeah. So
yeah. So now they got a decent little three-headed, I don't want to say monster because Reagor just really didn't do well in Philadelphia, between Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Justin Reagor. So we'll see where it goes. But the prevailing thing, at least what I've been reading, is that they plan to pass the ball more.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If they are trying to pass the ball more, then my hope is that offensive line builds up and they get some really good tight end play, someone that can actually move the chains. But because I think their running back showed that they, can't take the pounding. NFL is a physical game, so you got to be able to have a lot of depth at a decent amount of depth at the running back position. And the running back from Florida State that they have, it's really good. Dalvin Cook, he hasn't held up, for a full season. So very hard for a running back to do. I will say that. So I don't want to make it seem like the NFL is easy by no stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, though, Dalvin Cook has known to get hurt an awful lot. And it does hurt the Minnesota Vikings' chances. So let's take them. I think they're going to try to take some of them snaps away. Put them on account. Try to throw the ball a little bit. Let the pass be an extension of the run. And let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
But in the end, I still think Green Bay is going to win the division because I think they'll just have the better defense.
Yeah. I got the Bears being third place because it makes sense for them to be third place. Again, we'll talk more about our Bears season preview. But this is the team people think is going to be the 32nd ranked team in the NFL. They legitimately think the Chicago Bears can be worse than Detroit, the Houston Texans for some odd reason, but all because of this. All because the Bears don't have names and quote unquote, and yes, to an extent, the Bears on offense, Ryan Poles has not given Justin Fields the amount of help that, you would think they would give, but there's only so much money they can spend in one offseason. Ryan Poles went in his press conference the other day pretty much saying, listen, what do you want me to do? I can't have all these guys on the team that you want me to get. There's only so much I can do. This year is them building to next year where they can go out in free agency and sign some of those big names to these big contracts. But even then, Ryan Poles did say he would be hesitant on who he's giving money to. It's a building year. For the Bears, just from an outsider's perspective, you just need to have an outsider's perspective. It's just, how does Justin Fields look? Because I said it already on the block. Everybody on this Bears team is being evaluated by this new regime. That even goes for Justin Fields. If they don't look good, they'll be gone. Same thing will apply to Justin Fields. He'll still be there, but I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't look the best. Maybe the Bears, will potentially have a high top pick, maybe they look at one of these up and coming quarterbacks and be like, you know what? Maybe we might say, let's put Justin Fields on edge. Let's take one of these quarterbacks and we tell Justin, hey, you better get it together. Otherwise, we got your replacement ready in the wing. But if he looks good, I definitely could see them adding another offensive piece, definitely through the draft. But it's just a year. And honestly, I don't think the offense is going to be that bad. I think the offensive line is going to be something where it's going to have to work on, but they have trust in the rookie left tackle Braxton Jones. They moved Tevin Jenkins, who's probably their best lineman, to right guard. They got Alex Leatherwood off waivers from the Raiders. They do have a decent, it's not all be elite receiving core, but they do have a decent one. They signed that one talented receiver from the Vikings, Marset, who actually killed them when the Bears played the Vikings last year. It's gonna be interesting to see how the Bears look defensively. They look very good this preseason. They looked really good, which behooves me to think the national media thinks that the Bears are going to be the worst team in the NFL. But hey, if that's the case, the Bears have been coming out in media saying they want to prove people wrong. Well, then now you guys got to prove people wrong. I actually got them beating the San Francisco 49ers in week 1. I would not be shocked if we beat them.
I wouldn't be shocked if we beat them either. However, and yeah, you are correct. We're going to have a little bit over $100 million in cap room available so that we can go ahead and, plug some of the holes that free agency is going to create next year. I do think that this is a rebuilding year. I do think that I'm not going to say the players, management is, looking to make a splash next year and not necessarily this year. That said, I do honestly, this wide receiver core, unfortunately, I just don't see the skill set there. Justin Fields and the offensive line and our running backs, for me, I think we're going to impress some people with those positions. I really do, especially our running backs. I mean, we got three really good ones. Montgomery, Hebert, and Ebner. We got three really good ones. So, the tight ends, I think Cole Kmet is slated to have a career year. I really think Justin Fields like him so much that, he really looks for Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet is going to be his number one target. But that wide receiver room for me is going to be a problem all football year. Defense, on the other hand, man, I think, the whole preseason, they looked really good. I can't put them in third place. I really can't. I know what you're saying, but I can't put them in third place. It's just
too much. Fourth place?
I got him last place.
Wow.
I got him last place. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be as bad as, let's just say, everyone thinks so. I mean, I'm thinking last place, 6-11, third place, 7-10, those kind of records. I'm not saying that, the Bears are going to win 2 and 3 games, but they are good enough, fully healthy, to beat the 49ers week 1 when you got Trey Lance as your quarterback and he's only played and he has not impressed, So, but long season, as much as I really want them to succeed, I really think that wide receiver room is really going to let it. I think last year was the cornerbacks. I think this year is going to be the wide receivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Detroit, I got them fourth place because it's Detroit. I don't see them. Yeah. I don't see them third place like you see them. I don't see them like that.
Well, I'm not saying that it's going to be like between third and fourth place. It's this wide gap.
Oh yeah, I can agree to that.
Yeah, it's not going to be anything like that. I'm only talking about one game. I mean, it would shock me if third place is 2 games over the last place team. So I mean, it wouldn't shock me if both teams were 6-11.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me at all if both teams were 5-12.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say that the Bears is boatloads better than the Lions and the Lions are boatloads better than the Bears. I gotta admit, I'm really hoping that we see, the effect of Coach Eberflus on the Bears this year. Third place would be great. I mean, but for me, as long as we get a really good draft pick out of it, and we build draft capital this year for next year, draft well, bring in some high quality free agents with all the cap room we're going to have. That's what I hope to see from the Bears this year.
Okay. All right, so we're going to get to our quick week 1 predictions as we're ending this video off. So tomorrow or on Thursday, it's going to be the Bills versus the Rams. I got the Rams winning. I got the Rams winning this game.
Are they in SoFi?
Yep.
Rams.
Yeah.
Bills.
Yeah. I think it will be a close game, but I feel like Aaron Donald's going to probably make that one critical play that's going to stop the Bills from winning the game.
Correct.
Yep. 49ers at Bears, like we said earlier. I got the Bears upsetting the 49ers.
I like the Bears. I like the Bears too.
Yeah, they play. Yeah,
because they're going to be fully healthy and at home. Bears.
Yeah. And Justin Fields did play the same 49ers defense, so he's got some familiarity with it. So and he looked really good last year against them. He almost beat them last year. So I want to be
Keep in
shocked.
mind, we should have Brisker.
Yeah.
We should have Brisker.
Practically everybody's coming back. Brian Pringle's coming back. Lucas Patrick's coming back. Yeah. All
So
right.
we
Next.
should be fully healthy for the game. I like the Bears.
Yeah. Next game is Saints at Falcons. I got the Saints.
Saints.
Yeah. Steelers at Bengals. Going Bengals. Bengals at home.
Yeah, Bengals at home.
Eagles at Lions. I got the Eagles in that game.
I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench into. I'm gonna say the Lions beat the Eagles at home. The Lions are at home, so I'll say the Lions.
Okay. Next game, Patriots at Dolphins. I'm going with the Dolphins because the Patriots always struggle in Miami.
In Miami, I'll go with the Dolphins as well.
Ravens at Jets. Ravens.
Joe Flacco. All you need to know.
Jaguars at Commanders. I'm gonna go Jaguars.
I like Jaguars too. I'm really interested to see what Peterson can do with Lawrence.
Browns at Panthers. I'm going
Browns. Browns get 6 sacks.
Okay. Colts at Texans. I got Colts.
Colts.
Giants at Titans. I got Titans.
Yeah, Titans. I mean, Eric Henry, man, just Eric Henry, and I think Thibodeau is not even playing.
Yeah,
anyone. So that's going to hurt their defense.
Packers at Vikings. I'm going to go with the Vikings at home.
I'll go with the Vikes too, because Rodgers historically has not played well in Minnesota.
Yeah. Chiefs at Cardinals. I'm going Kansas City for that one.
At the Cardinals?
Yes.
and the Cardinals are healthy.
Yeah, I'm still going Chiefs though.
JJ Watt playing?
Yeah, he should be playing.
Going with the Cardinals.
You have a lot of confidence.
JJ Watt plays. Man, the Cardinals was the best team in football last year until JJ Watt got hurt.
Okay.
I'm going with the Cardinals.
Raiders at Chargers. It's gonna be packed with Raider fans, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Home team. Gotta go with the home team, Chargers.
Well, technically it's gonna be an away game for the Chargers because I know the LA loves the Raiders.
They're in California.
Yeah, they trust me. 90.
So
a good 75% of that stadium.
Now that the Raiders done left California again, the California people still like the Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders are diehard out here.
Okay, all right. I'm still going with the Chargers.
All right, yeah, I'm still going with the Chargers too. Buccaneers, Cowboys. I'm going with Buccaneers.
No, I think I'm gonna go with Cowboys. Last year they played each other, and it was a close game, and the Buccaneers squeaked it out. But the Cowboys should have won that game too. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys this year.
And then the Monday night game is going to be Russell Wilson coming back to Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm
going Broncos for that one.
Seahawks by 20.
Yep. Broncos.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That was our season predictions as well as week 1 predictions. We'll be back next week for our week 1 recaps of the games we've watched and just our takes and stuff like that. But other than that, hopefully you guys liked the video. Until then, guys, have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Later.